Hello! Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Harley and Josh Show, your music podcast by musicians. Harley's here.
Hello! Josh is here.
I'm not, mate.
Oh.
I'm an illusion. I'm a hologram because I've already died and my record label's got the rights to me and they're going to put me on, for some reason, a hologram on the radio.
A radio hologram.
I didn't think this through. Today, we're going to be talking about the music industry reeling from flipping COVID-19. Let's talk about that.
It's fine.
South by Southwest has been cancelled because of that, so we're going to be asking later on, should concerts be cancelled because of this?
And how will it affect other concerts?
Absolutely, everything. Gibson is donating guitars to musicians who lost instruments in the Tennessee tornadoes.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a football team. And also, Ipswich has got a brand new record store on St. Peter's Street. So we're going to be talking about that. But, I mean, Harley, first, oh my goodness, I need to know what's happening. What did I do? Oh, what did you do?
What did I do?
I don't know, the computer flipped out.
Okay, well, it's what I do. It's been good to get back in the swing of things.
Good.
And be
and it's playing straight as well.
Yeah.
Not just swung.
To be a local musician again.
Hey,
it's
for local people.
It's kind of nice, yeah. So I had 2 gigs this weekend. Friday night with Class Act at the Shamrock. Saturday night with Oddball and the Shifty Twins at the Swan. And they were 2 very, very well-received shows. Yeah, man.
I saw, some great pictures from the Friday night at the Shamrock.
Yeah.
It looked like a great time.
It always is there. It's just a very nice, warm welcome crowd. And it was, again, really good fun to play with Class Act.
It's you, Rainer.
Yes.
Tick off your bingo card.
Yeah.
Bronwyn.
Yes.
We've got Rob.
And
Tom McCarthy.
Yes.
That's one all-star lineup because 3 of them are an all-star rock school.
Yes, it was. It was great, and it's all like so much fun. There were a lot of songs because we haven't played together in a while. We had one rehearsal just to go through some bits we weren't sure of.
Right.
Tom has only done a few gigs with us, so there were a few songs that he was still learning at the last gig, and he kind of went, "I didn't do that very well. Can we just tidy these bits up or things we remembered from the last gig?" Because when you're playing the same set, you don't really know that you don't know a song or stuff like that until you do a gig and you're like, this isn't how I expected it to go. So we kind of went, we messed that up last time.
Where did you rehearse?
We rehearsed at Audio. Is it
the Audio Lab?
Yeah. What's the full name? Central Audio Lab.
Central Audio Lab. Yeah. There we go.
On Smart Street.
Run by Mr. Stan from the downstairs.
Yes, we had a lot of fun doing that and getting all through stuff. But the gig itself was great fun. I love playing with Bronwyn because
she is so fun.
It's so funny, just
the dynamo.
Yeah, there's just every direction you look when you look at the band, there's smiles on the face.
Yeah.
Because someone's doing something cool, everyone's all just getting into it.
Yeah.
We started off with our own partial rendition of Carry On Wayward Son.
Oh, brilliant.
4-part harmony at the beginning. Went into the riff, and when it goes down to the what would be the piano bit, we hit him with I Love Rock and Roll. So
you told me this.
At rehearsal, we kind of were just playing, and we accidentally went into that song. We're like, okay, let's not do the whole song because it's a bit much, but I think that's a cool little riff to open with. Absolutely. And then we'll go into another song.
Yeah, it's great.
So, and that was really cool, and it was a nice little opener. It was a great way to start the set with just an a cappella part, which was great.
Yeah. That's great. One thing I will say about Bronwyn, I feel like a kindred spirit with her because I feel we're both like English versions of Jim Carrey as Ace Ventura. Just sometimes or like The Mask. I sometimes expect Bronwyn
very
to just
elastic
go,
faces.
Somebody stop me.
Yes.
I think Bronwyn should do that at every show.
Yeah. And that was it was really good fun. And Charlie, my partner, was there, and she was like, you can tell how much fun you guys are having on stage.
Good.
That's what it's all about. We love doing what we do, and if we don't have to tell you, but you know that we're having fun, that's half of the job because it makes it so much easier for the audience to have fun.
Absolutely.
And enjoy themselves, enjoy the night, keep on drinking, plenty of lemonade, drink responsibly, people.
Lemonade. Silly lemonade.
And if you're feeling particularly decadent, you can have an orange and lemonade.
Oh my goodness! Come on, vitamin C all over the place.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what you were saying there. Just when you can see a band having fun and enjoying themselves on stage, I always say to my students that it's like having a conversation with somebody. If you're having a conversation with somebody and you're talking about an exciting topic, but you don't look excited, it's very difficult to get that person that you're talking to excited about it. So it's exactly the same on stage. If you are having a conversation with your audience, and if you're not keeping eye contact or you're not smiling, depending on what kind of music you're playing, or just, being in that emotion, then it doesn't work. And
to add to that thing, there's a great interview with a guy called Charlie Winston who was talking about the conversation of a performance, because it goes both ways, but it's your job to get the people in the audience to talk back to you, not necessarily stop and have a conversation with you midway through your set.
Oh, you suck.
Yeah, nobody likes a person who tries to talk to you mid-set.
I like that one.
Yeah, public service announcement. But cheering, clapping, singing along, doing the call and response, all of that is part of that conversation you're having. And the more to and fro you have, the better the conversation is, the better the gig is, and the more likely people are going to come to the next gig because they felt part of something.
Absolutely.
Rather than they've just watched it. And it was a great example of that in play.
Absolutely. It was good. They fun crowds at the Shamrock as well. Oh, is that for some good crack?
Yes. Rob was great.
With Irish pub radio.
Yeah.
You love it.
Rob was great kind of leading the band in the ways of, if something wasn't going to work, he took it down a different path. There was a lot of fun conversation between the songs, between all of us. And it was just a really enjoyable night for everyone involved. It was just great fun.
I think everybody in that band has been a front man at some point, or front person.
Yeah. Yes. Maybe that's
funny.
something to do with it. Yeah.
That might be why, because you're all just dynamic people.
Yeah, I think it takes something to be the front of a band, and that kind of, I think a good band is where anyone can take the front of the stage. The hardest part is knowing when to take the front of the stage and not step forward when someone else steps forward.
Right.
And I think we're pretty good at that.
Yeah, look at me.
It's very easy to talk over someone at a gig, and the punchline or the point you're trying to get across gets lost because there's two people on a mic, and it just scrambles up. And we did that really well. I think it's really good to people are really good at kind of spotting those such situations. It was great.
Absolutely, Harley. That's amazing. How was the Swan and the Hedgehog? I've not gigged there yet since the ownership change.
It was really good. It was really good. Yeah, they.
Where did you play?
So we played the same places we had in the past. I know there are some bands would have in the past have played where the pool table used to be. Yeah. But we just went in and set up as usual where the bands traditionally were. It was really funny because last time Dan set his drum kit up in the middle, and afterwards we went, I don't know if that works. Next time we'll try it in the side. So we set his drum kit up at the side, and we looked and went, nah, worse. Okay, move it all back. It was really busy when we got there. There was an event on at the Corn Exchange. Right. So as soon as we were about to start, everyone piled into the Corn Exchange, which does happen. It was darts, and it was a really busy night. There were a lot of people who were very much up for a good time. Brilliant. Who then walked out before we started playing.
Bye.
Yeah, so we're like, okay, well, it's all right. We'll hold off a little bit because we'll probably catch them on the way out. Right, and we did. And to be honest, it did fill up after the dart started with people who just came to see a band. With a lot of people there we knew. It was a really nice, friendly crowd. We had a lot of fun with it. Good. I was playing with a new toy, so that was great fun.
What was?
I've gone from the Helix Effects, which is the Line 6 Helix, to the Helix Floor, which basically is more buttons, although half of them didn't work. That's a story for another day. But it also has amp modelling. So I was going for Friday night, I was going to an acoustic amp, which is a brand called Acoustic. They don't exist anymore because you can't have a brand like that.
I fixed an amp from Acoustic once. That was really interesting. Just like looking at the circuitry and being like, wow. I'm
glad they don't exist anymore, because imagine Googling it.
Yeah, I need an acoustic amp. We got one from Marshall. We got one from Behringer. No. Well, I think it's an interesting story about your Line 6 floor thing.
Yes.
So it broke and you got it fixed really quite easily.
So my Helix Effects was on a ship.
Right.
It stayed on the ship because the guy who took over used it. And I
very trusting of you, and that's very nice of you. There are not many musicians would do that.
Yeah.
So
well, it was with
commendations to you.
So a friend of mine Matt Hurrell, had a spare Helix, which he said only half the buttons work. Mm-hmm. Don't know what's wrong with it. If you can fix it, you can. So I took it apart, and I went, okay, there's these tiny little plastic bits which had gone missing, where I think someone had taken it apart to take some sand out of it because it had been on the beach in the Maldives and got filled with sand.
Oh, right.
And so then from that point, the bits had gone missing. So the buttons that didn't work were the ones that you needed, and the buttons that did work were fairly useless. So I managed to get the bits that were missing, and swap them. So I can have any 6 buttons work, but I couldn't have the full 12.
Right.
Essentially. So that's what was going on.
Smart cookie.
So I managed to get hold of some new parts fairly affordably, but at the moment I'm just using the bottom row of stuff. And the tuner button, which I can't reassign anywhere else, only works sometimes, which was a bit annoying because my bass went very out of tune on the Friday night, and I was like pressing the button panically during the set, during a song, to try and get it to work at so I could tune it at the right point where you could kind of live without bass.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
So I was like, okay. But anyway.
So you don't want to be one of those moments where you stop on stage and you're like, can you just give me an E?
Yeah.
And the audience is going, ah.
Yeah, I did try tuning by ear, but the monitoring system situation wasn't ideal. But anyway, yeah. So I got it working, and I was really happy with how I set it up, because I've set it up with basically I made a patch that if I press a button, when I hit the bass note, it plays a power chord of what the guitar would do.
Oof. Going
through a matchless amp and a 2x12 cab.
Ooh.
Mic'd up with a Royer 121, because you've got all the amp modelling and mic modelling on there.
That's great. So
really great sound, and it's great because I played a note and it sounded very close to the guitarist playing that same chord.
Right.
So if Oliver was soloing, I pressed the button and I've got chords underneath, so there was never a point where so there were 3 of us on stage and it sounded like there were 4 of us.
Wow. So the shifty quadruplets.
We were saying if we had another member, we were discussing on the way home, what would we call ourselves?
There'd be shifty triplets, wouldn't it?
Well, it'd be odd. Someone suggested, what about Odd Balls and the Shifty Twins? But then I said no, because then it would be Even Balls and the Shifty Twins.
Yeah. One ball.
So the other suggestion was Odd Ball, Nut Ball and the Shifty Twins.
Oh my.
Or Odd Ball and the Shifty Triplets.
Right.
But I guess
Odd Ball, Even Ball and the Shifty Twins.
Oh yeah. Mm. So answer on a postcard. If we had an extra member, what would you be called? But,
Harley.
Yes.
What was your favourite musical moment from last week?
Carry On Wayward Son. Absolute belter song. I love it.
Carry On
and I have
Wayward Fun Time.
Yes, I want to record a cover of me playing that at some point.
Yeah, that's really fun.
That's one thing on my list to do, is get more videos of me playing up online.
So
and that's a great song to do.
Was it the whole band harmonising for
that? So everyone apart from Tom, just
because he's so mysterious.
Yes. Also, he was hidden in the corner. There wasn't enough space for a mic stand. Oh, yeah. So so
like,
me,
yes, that's what
Rob,
I like.
Rainer, and Bronwyn singing beautifully.
Absolutely amazing. All right, what was your favourite, most important musical lesson from last week?
Make sure your tuner works.
Yeah, that's true. No,
like that was a stressful moment, because I'm like halfway between an F and an E, and I'm like,
you forget how much we rely on technology until you need it. Right?
Yeah, all my basses are really good at staying in tune as well. So generally speaking, I can take my bass out of a case, more so if it's in a hard case and it's in tune.
Bass out of a case, London.
So then I'm more, because I'm more I can go, yep, it'll probably be in tune. It means I'm more likely to be caught out when it's not.
Right, yeah.
You know, like if you've got a guitar or a bass that you need to tune every 2 or 3 songs, well, you'll tune it every song just to be sure, you know, and you get very good at talking whilst tuning, which is something you're quite good at. Yeah. Whereas I'm like, and I am very happy to be here.
Good for you. All right, let's play some music.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is a song by the marvellous Meffs. That's not their band name, they're just called the Meffs. It's called Budget Luxury. They are playing in Ipswich with Pet Needs this weekend, so stick around for the gig list to find out. This is Budget Luxury. Perfect length, that one.
That was nice.
Budget Luxury by the Meffs. Yeah, it's good.
It's good.
Get in, do a good chorus, and get out.
Yeah. Don't wait around.
Good riff.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. Oh, Harley. I've got to, I played the wrong jingle at the beginning, so I better play the wrong jingle now.
Yeah. Consistency.
What'd you do? Me.
Yeah. What did you do, Josh?
Thank you. Yeah, so you sung that one. All right, so started off the week with All Star, as I usually do. I've got my All Star t-shirt on right now, All Star Rock School. And I was really happy about this one specifically because I've been making a suggestion for a song for months.
Yes.
And we finally did it. Can you guess what it is?
Did it begin with S?
Well, no, but yes. it was a song by Ghost, which Harley calls
Shost. If you look at the logo, it looks like Shost. It just does. It just does.
It's like they're the first band I've been, a big band I've been obsessed with for a long time. So absolutely, we did Dance Macabre. Nice and simple song, and all the kids loved it, and now they're big Ghost fans.
That's good.
So love that. So the thing is that it was, I don't know, it was really weird because when I was tabbing it out, it's in D standard, but it doesn't need to be in D standard. That's the annoying thing about tunings. That you don't have to be going in these weird tunings. Put it in drop D and go from there. That's pretty much when
Ghost from there.
Yeah, right. Ghost from there. I don't know what it is. I think sometimes people just go to different tunings just to be pretentious. But yeah, it was really fun. And just the guitarist didn't even need to be in D standard either. But it was all tabbed in.
I wonder whether it's just one of those things that if the rest of their album was recorded in D standard,
interesting.
So it's just why tune up just for one song?
Good point. Yeah, because for a live show,
fair enough for a band or if you're doing an all-star show, why tune down for one show?
Yeah, one song.
If every other song's tuned to D standard, then why tune up?
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I like that. Speaking of tunings, I've turned my made in Japan Jaguar from 2004 into a baritone.
Yes.
And I'm super loving it right now.
I would love to hear this. I've been listening to lots of music that has baritone on, and every now and then I'm like, yeah.
So I've just talked about pretentious tunings, and I've just been saying that baritone, which is now an A standard. So that is A, D, G. Oh crikey, I've forgotten the next one. F, E, A.
Oh,
no,
right.
It's not F. No, it's not
It's the
F.
other way, isn't it?
Yeah, it's A, D, G. What's the one in between it? Anyway, Hansel's on a postcard. Please let us know.
A, E, D. Oh,
no, not A, E. It's A, D.
A, D, G, C,
E, A. There we go.
Yeah.
E, A.
I fully was expecting it to have some flats in there, some weird
Right, no, nice and simple. It's been so fun to be playing around with that, just with loads of fuzz and pitch shifter. And I've been planning my own solo stuff to go out and do some gigs by myself because I really want to get out doing that. I've also ordered some extra stuff for it. I've ordered this Duesenberg tremolo for it, which I cannot wait to
You're
come.
loving the tremolos these days.
Oh, I've always, since joining the Lockabillys, I can't, actually, since my 80s phase and my Floyd Rose, back in 2007, 2008, I can't play guitars. Well, I can play guitars without tremolos, but I so much prefer it with a tremolo.
It's just it's a tool. It's a very useful tool to yourself.
Which is why is it called a tremolo, Harley?
Because originally they would use it as a tremolo rather than
That's a vibrato. It's always a vibrato because it changes the note. It's pitch. Tremolo is volume. Just going.
Tremolo is both. I think it can be both.
No.
Yeah.
Tremolo is just like an LFO. And it's just turning the volume up and down. It's not changing the pitch because that's vibrato. So why isn't it called a vibrato one?
But you get a tremolo pedal that can change the pitch.
Can you?
Yeah.
Well, that makes no sense.
Nah.
None of it makes sense. Right? Who am I? I'm really looking forward to putting that in, and that takes no routing, just like the Stets bar. So you literally, if you've got a stop tail, speed loader, you can literally just swap it out
Oh, okay, cool.
For that. So I can't wait for that. So All-Star, also back to All-Star, they had a performance on Tuesday. I want to give them a big shout out because they played at the Rock Prom at Colchester Arts Centre.
Awesome.
Sold out audience.
Wow.
Absolutely packed because there were about 6 different schools and bands involved. And they nailed it. I only saw the videos because I was working. But I was just so proud. So proud. And it was, like one of my bass students, shout out to Maisie, she just nailed it. Absolutely nailed it, and she's just she is so good. So I just want to just say well done, guys. You were incredible. Band's called Time's Up at the moment.
Okay, cool.
I'm not sure if they'll change it or if they'll continue being a band. I hope they do.
Yeah.
Speaking of bands and performances, I've had my school Moorland have been practicing all week for their performance that was on Friday at Snake Maltings.
Okay, yeah.
So I was been talking about this on the show before. I've kind of like put together a little band. They ended up being called Archie and the Deadheads because they were part of a performance of Macbeth. We had to do sort of Macbeth in 10 minutes, basically. Right? And then we had 3 songs to use. We did Lust for Life by Iggy Pop.
Right.
Which the kids did really well. Did Running Up That Hill as well by Kate Bush. So a couple of the kids played for that one, but some of them were performing in it, so they couldn't be involved. But the drummers were great, really, really good. And I taught them drums, and they're good, which is just like how, because I'm not a very good drummer. So they're going to be overtaking me very, very soon. And also they asked me to do a horror intro, but I've been slammed busy these past 2 weeks, and it was like a couple days or so before the performance, I can't remember, they were like, we need a 40-second horror intro. This kind of like Hammer films, like The Omen, like The Exorcist, with a thunderclap. And I was like, I had like 5 minutes before I'm out, so I literally I just got the thunderclap and the rain from Raining Blood by Slayer, put that at the beginning and left it going, because like right at the end, you're like, at the end of the song, and then put Ghost, Spirit.
Is that the one with the like?
It starts off with a bell and an organ going. Yeah, exactly. So they were just like, "Wow, that's amazing." I was like, "Yes, I'm going to take all the credit for that." But I like it because that introduced some of the kids to Ghost. So and Slayer, which they were like, "Oh, this is a good tune!" Like, and then 9.
Nice.
There's no swear words. It's fine.
Yeah.
So they did the performance on stage. Like there was 6 other schools there. No, 7 other schools actually. And I really do think that they were the best. I'm not biased. It wasn't a competition. They had to learn a song that they wrote specifically for this because it was about like the future. And somebody had written this composition just about climate change. And it was based on Greta Thunberg quotes, funnily enough. So when they teaching it to the kids, I was like, it's a bit propaganda-y for 10-year-olds. But all the kids were sort of saying, what are you scared of about the future? And they were all like, climate change, all this sort of stuff. So it was kind of a thing of like, these are your kids, because it's all the parents in the audience. So if you want them to have a good life, maybe look after the planet. Well done, guys. I was so proud. They were so well behaved. I was with them from like 12 until about 9-10 o'clock. No dramas. Just some weird things that come out of their mouth. I'm going to be starting quotes and phrases that'll come out. Like one of the quotes was, "I want you to act like your house is on fire," which was like a Greta Thunberg quote. And so I was like, "Well done, you guys have learned the lyrics." And one of the kids just comes up to me afterwards. She was like, "I'm going to burn everything down, apart from my boyfriend." I was like, actually, again, she's 8, and she just looks at me and goes. Just like gets a fake match and is just trying to light me on fire. I'm like, I think you got the wrong message from this climate change thing. So after that, I was Bravo the next day. We were teaching Enter Sandman, which was fun because like the last week I think we'd done like Shut Up and Dance With Me. And I was like, please get me something better. And Enter Sandman was much better. Then I straight after that I went to my mate Dave Housden's place because we are recording more bits for Battletoads, which is going to be coming out on the Xbox. TBC. It was going to be episodic, but there's different things going on behind the scenes which I can't talk about. So I don't know a release date yet, but I'm so excited for it to come out. What else happened? What else did I do, Harley?
I don't know.
Oh, you repaired my guitar.
Oh yeah,
You repaired my my Gordon Smith.
that's it. Oh yeah.
Because the Stetz bar, when I was putting it on, what had happened? Can you tell me what had happened to my single coil at the bridge? Had I just yanked it out or something?
Yes, it came out. It actually broke at the switch end.
Right, I thought that might have been the case.
Which were like, it was funny. I was talking to James at the time. I was like, right, so my thought is that the wire may have been tugged whilst you're fitting it, because you kind of have to have them at tension at some point, because the cable that comes on a pickup wire is almost long enough.
Right.
Almost. You're like, actually, if it was a little bit,
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm hoping it's come off at the
switch, because otherwise you've got to dismember this entire tremolo system.
And sometimes if it's come off at the actual pickup end, they're really hard to fix.
I bet, yeah.
And they might even be a job to take back to the to a pickup specialist, because they sometimes have to take a winding
pickup
off.
Artist, you might say.
Yes. Luckily, it was at the switch end, so it was a nice, easy fix, especially because you got the Telecaster style system on that.
Yeah.
They're like, it's just a single bar, 2 screws, and it's really easy to get to all the electronics built in, which is lovely.
Yeah, you lift out the whole thing and it's just there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so shout out to West End Music. Thank you very much for sorting out my stuff, as per usual. Yeah. Just got some one of those elastic straps, those only ball elastic straps from West End Music.
Oh, okay.
And it's really fun to play with, because it's just like boingy, boingy, boing. And also put some mammoth slinkies on there. But I've changed it up a bit.
Ooh,
because what you end up doing is for a baritone guitar you need really thick strings, because otherwise it's just flopping about too much, and the strings I had on it before were like 10s or something. So I've changed it with a lot of truss rod adjustments to it starts with a 62 for the E string.
It's like a bass string,
and a 14 for the E string. So instead of so that's like a B string. And it's really fun.
Nice.
It's just so fun. Shout out to West End Music. Thank you for all that.
Are you going to do any videos or anything like that? Are you just kind of playing around with it?
Maybe.
Please do.
I'd love to hear
it. Yeah.
I'll be on my Instagram at JoshLockOfficial. That's for everybody. Frankie was away on Saturday, which was like she stayed out at my mate's house. My girlfriend, this is, for anybody not knowing who Frank is. And so I was like, I've got the house to myself. So I stayed up until like 2 a.m. just writing stuff. I didn't realise it was 2 a.m. I was like, oh no. The next day I was just useless.
I can relate. Like, so me and Charlie, we've moved in together more recently. And then it's been fairly busy. But then I found myself with an evening off where she went to work. And I was like, okay. Well,
what do I do?
What do I do? Yeah. Actually, no, sorry. She came to the gig Friday night because she had an early start. She stayed at her mum's because her mum just works down the road.
Right, yeah.
So I was like, I went home and I was like, I've got a place to myself. And I'm like, it got to about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I've just been playing Minecraft.
Nice.
I'm like, I'm going to go to bed now.
And on that note, let's play some Pet Needs. They are also playing this weekend with the Meffs at the Steamboat, but I can tell you when at the gig list. This is We'll Laugh About This One Day by the Needs.
I lost my mind for 2 days and found it in my...
That was the marvellous Pet Needs with We'll Laugh About This Now. So, next. A new record shop is popping up in St. Peter Street in Ipswich.
Gibson is donating guitars to musicians who lost instruments at the Tennessee tornadoes.
And the music industry is ruling from the COVID-19. Music news. Right, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is a brand new record store popping up in Ipswich now, following its success in Woodbridge. Hex Records, which is run by Marcus Neal of the Smokehouse.
Yes.
Basically it has moved to Ipswich, offering new and second-hand vinyl. It's tucked away above the Love One store. There used to be Tram Records in there.
Oh, okay.
But I think that must have stopped about 2 years ago now.
Right.
So now they've got another record store in there, which is great. There's usually a gallery upstairs at Love One, and they've turned that into a record store. It's open on Fridays. Marcus is well known on the Ipswich music scene for his work at the Smokehouse and organising Sound City in Ipswich.
Yes.
He says, we have new releases every week. I buy things in that I really like because I have a passion for those albums. Marcus also buys in private collections, but will only sell secondhand vinyl, which is in excellent condition. They're open every Friday between 11 and 5 and Saturday between 10 and 5. And there are plans for an outdoor launch event later in the spring.
Amazing. I know a lot of people who will spend hours in there. It's great. It's getting like vinyl such a big thing now, and such a wholesome collection, like hobby for,
absolutely.
for many.
Right.
So yeah,
if you want some new music, go down there. Harley, what else has happened this week in the music news?
So Gibson is donating guitars to musicians who have lost instrument in the Tennessee tornadoes, which I think is really nice.
Amazing.
Really good for them.
And then it's not a fighter pilot squadron.
No. So it's called
Tennessee
Gibson
Tornadoes.
Gives, which is a non-profit wing of the global guitar brand. They plan to donate guitars to players with damaged or destroyed instruments as a result of the early Tuesday storm.
And within 5 seconds, people that will live within like 200 miles of Tennessee are like, I'm a musician.
Yeah.
And I lost an instrument.
Yeah, I mean...
Give it to me free.
And I think that's really, as someone who, lives in Tennessee myself, I think that's really irresponsible.
Please give me a free guitar. It's beautiful, isn't it? I love that there's solidarity there.
And anyone who knows the Gibson company that knows that they've had a very turbulent 10 years, having gone into
administration.
Is it administration? Yeah,
well, it's bankruptcy in America.
Yeah, bankruptcy in America. And have been bought out by another company. They've kind of not rebranded, but their guitars they've changed the design to how they were, like more to how they were originally.
Really,
because they went through a lot of changes in the last 20 years. And they're making some really nice guitars now. And some very lucky people who have been very unlucky have been are going to be gifted some really great stuff, which is amazing.
Nashville is it's the heart of music in America.
Gibson have said
that we provided
guitars,
Gibson's sole discretion. So they've got to be based on like proof of damage or losses and things. So loads of people are going to be like that, aren't they? And
they say their replacement guitars may be demo models, prototypes, or shop worn across Gibson family of guitar brands.
That's interesting.
So, which is fair enough, because if you've got a show model, it might get like dinged, it might get scratched up from someone going a bit heavy with a scratch, and and at the same, like, personally, that it doesn't really matter at that point. You're still going to get a really good guitar.
Absolutely. And if it's like a prototype, imagine that.
That would be cool.
You you lose a guitar, but then you get a one-off that nobody else will ever have.
Yeah. You can get some really cool, some interesting things that aren't, because I can imagine with the stage that they're in, they'll probably have loads of prototype guitars, a big company like that, or trying to find the next best thing.
Turns out tornadoes aren't a bad thing. Other ways to lose your guitar are available.
I think they still are.
Yeah, exactly.
I think other forms of weather are available.
No, there isn't. So last thing we want to talk about, I kind of didn't want to talk about this a little bit because it's just
you are so bored of this.
I know. I don't know.
You were saying this last week.
It's just because it's just all over the media at the moment. It's this coronavirus thing.
Yeah.
But it is affecting the music industry, so we have to talk about it, Harley.
Yes.
South by Southwest 2020 is cancelled in the first time in its 34-year history. So major companies like Netflix, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, and Twitter pulled out several days ago, including Ozzy Osbourne, Trent Reznor, and the Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
All three major labels, the Universal Music Group, Sony Music, and Warner Music, they also pulled out of the event, or advising at least employees against going. They basically said it was made as a medical and data-driven decision. They didn't want to, but it was just like, well, everybody's pulled out, so we kind of have to cancel. And
as soon as one person, like one big company, pulls out, the other people will kind of be going, should we be doing that?
Yes, exactly. It just that's why the market's had such a massive crash, is because of all this uncertainty.
And it is uncertainty. There's a lot of people saying it's not that big a deal. There's a lot of people saying it's a much bigger deal than it could be. People aren't really sure because there's so much coverage on the media, and there's a lot of scaremongering, but then there's also a lot of, is this scaremongering?
Yeah, true. And also so much fake news at the moment.
Yes, so much.
Let's talk about that in a bit. So the official statement from the Austin Public Health stated that there's no evidence that closing South by Southwest or any other gatherings will make the community safer. However, this situation evolved rapidly, and basically South by Southwest say, we honour and respect the City of Austin's decision. We are committed to doing our part to help protect our staff, attendees and fellow Austinites. It's not the only thing that's been affected by this.
No.
Tool, they had a concert attendee who was diagnosed with coronavirus in New Zealand. You don't want to be that guy, do you? Or girl.
Yeah, I bet he's not popular with his mates.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, so everybody here is, you ruined it for everybody, Party foul. Coachella, their fate hangs in the balance as the health officials assess the situation.
Yeah.
So it may get cancelled. Who knows? There's been cancellations from a lot of artists on tour, though. Like it's just ruining stuff for people.
Working in corporate, doing AV sound stuff.
Yes.
We've had a lot of conferences and stuff that have been postponed.
Really?
And a few events that have been postponed indefinitely.
That's money out of your pocket.
Yep.
Immediately.
There was a big job last week that a friend of mine was cancelled. They cancelled it like 6 days before it happened. And he was like, well, cool, I've got nothing to do now.
Right.
Which he's mostly annoyed that because it means he has to go now sort out the warehouse because they're like, we've got to give you work.
Yeah, exactly.
It means he's got to go.
We've got to do something, right?
Cables.
I mean, that's good because not everybody would do that.
Yeah.
So there's been cancellations from, as a big list here, Mariah Carey, BTS, the Pixies, Mabel, Stormzy, Green Day, Slipknot, Testament, and Exodus, as they were going to be in tour in Italy. So
why have Slipknot cancelled gigs? They've already got the masks.
They were. We'll talk a bit about that actually in a minute. A lot of these were Japanese tours and tours around sort of Singapore and China. So Lacuna Coil have cancelled stuff. I mean, they're an Italian band. Whitesnake, Trivium. Others have altered their tour schedules in response to the outbreak. Speaking of masks, Korn's branded surgical mask has become popular and it's sold out. That's amazing, isn't it? I mean, there's no flipping evidence that those surgical masks or breathing masks
a lot of people
do anything.
are saying that the masks are only useful if you've got it.
Oh, really?
They're only good for
stop spreading it.
Stop spreading it, not catching it.
Again, fake news. There's so much fake news about I've seen so much. Like Facebook has now sponsored. Well, given the government free advertisements just to say to people like stuff from the NHS and from the government, actual advice, rather than the amount of people that are just, bloggers putting out uninformed nonsense onto their YouTube channels and Facebook videos. It's just like, you're not a doctor.
I want to
shut up.
I want to just make a point there saying that's a really good, like Facebook have been in the press for making some bad decisions, call it in terms of their marketing.
Absolutely.
In a lot of political adverts and stuff like that more recently, but like that's actually a good move to go, look, that's a good step towards actually teaching, like I say, truth.
Absolutely, man.
And it's good to know that they have the capacity to make those right decisions, like I say.
Thankfully, every once in a while. So Harley, that brings us on to
thing I found report about this morning.
Jingle.
And I'm going to so Harley, I know that this is your sentiment right now.
Ask me anything. Yeah.
I ask you, should we be counselling cancers because of coronavirus or COVID-19? Do you think we should be cancelling all this stuff going on?
Here in the UK, I really don't think we should right now.
There's about 200 cases in the UK or something.
Yeah, there's really not enough cases for it to be a real issue so far. It's worth mentioning that there are people who may want to be a little bit more careful, but at the same time, these people are also going to be vulnerable to stuff like flu, which is happening, which there's already a lot more cases in the UK.
Right.
You have got the fear with coronavirus; it's a lot more. What's the word? Spreadable. It's a lot more contagious because the incubation period is a lot longer than what you get with flu. So, yeah, but I mean, I'm not pregnant, so that's all right for me. Far. But just be careful. Obviously, wash your hands. Don't go out and bulk buy toilet roll.
Oh, I hate that.
You know what sucked? Right, I was doing my biz this morning. I was like, my toilet roll's getting low. I'm like, now. I don't want to go to the shop and find out that there's no toilet roll.
Time to get some banana leaves. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Or just banana skins. I don't know. It's got to be bananas, though.
So, or just a bidet.
A bidet? Yeah, just buy a bidet.
Yeah.
Maybe, but then people start bulk buying bidets and then where we'll be. Right.
I bought a 6-pack from Costco. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I heard news today that Cobra has been meeting up to assess the situation for the government.
As in the beer company?
No, not...
Because it's Corona, it's not...
yeah, and that's Indian, isn't it? But there's the thing there, it's... they're meeting up and there has been speculation as to whether they will also not only advise against, large gatherings of people for concerts. They've already cancelled sporting events. That's not under advisement from the government, but it's just from the advisements on the teams. The Swiss Football League has been completely cancelled or postponed. A lot of the gigs that I mentioned that had been cancelled before have been in Switzerland. Avril Lavigne had a lot of dates in Switzerland that she had to cancel because the government has has made it law that you can't have gatherings of over 1,000 people.
Yeah.
So the government is considering that right now. But there was also sort of worries that they will actually also advise against any public gatherings, including local gigs and people going to community halls for church groups and stuff. But most importantly, gigs in pubs and stuff. Of people that maybe 100 up to 100 people or over. There was
that's
daft, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Well, you were actually making a good point about this earlier.
Which one? Which one was it?
You make so many great points. But you were saying how that actually it might be an even more likely place to catch something is at a smaller event.
Oh yeah. So we talk outside the radio show, guys.
No, we don't.
Okay. So we were pretending to talk. We were just kind of looking and nodding as if we were talking, but we weren't actually talking.
Friends.
And I nodded, and my hands gestured in a way to say.
Yeah, we do sign language just in case we. Yeah.
But potentially, especially somewhere like Ipswich, there's a lot of places that are walking distance from one place to another. So yeah, you might be in a pub with only 50, 100 people in, but the chances are a lot of those people had been to another pub previously and are going to another pub after that. Mm-hmm. So you're coming in contact with a lot more people from different directions, going to different places, more than a gig where they may be more locally sourced and then confined a definite group of people.
But I still think this is very much just scaremongering because there's so much out there that can kill you. If this is going to be the one thing that stops you from going out, why haven't you thought about the flu? That's what I was talking about.
I nearly got hit by a bus the other day.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, what, you're going to wear a bus mask or something like that? But just to stop you from an anti-bus hitting suit that's just like a sumo wrestler suit, whatever. But if you think about, I know I just heard a figure the other day that in the US alone, in November last year, there was about 5,000 to 6,000 people died from the flu. I mean, there have been 200 cases in the UK and only 2 people died.
And they already had respiratory issues.
And bless them, they were old people and they weren't protected enough.
No.
And so why, there's just a new thing to be scared of. And that's why I'm angry at the news media a little bit, just from sensationalizing this.
Yeah.
It's the fact of you should be scared. Because the thing about the news media and the TV, here we go with here we go with my tinfoil hat on. But what TV wants is for you to watch more TV.
Yeah.
And every single time you turn anything on, even now, like the way that we are, in my YouTube subscriptions are full up with people talking about coronavirus.
Yeah.
And that's not something that's just like, it's clickbait. There's so much of it about. So, I mean, if there was like a ticker on the news saying about how many people that died from the flu, people would be going, I've got to go. I'm going to go bulk buy every day. So we'd never have any toilet roll. Yeah. So I don't know. I think chill out, people.
There was I was watching on the news the other day, which is rare, so I don't watch news, but I was at someone's house and it was just on because people just put the news on as if that's entertainment.
Yeah, Harley watches olds.
Yep. I watched, not know about that news.
Yeah.
Okay, I've just understood what news. Never mind.
It's been 27 years.
Shush. And they were talking about previous global pandemics or
epidemics.
Potential epidemic pandemics, whichever you want to like. So we've had in our year, we've had the bird flu scare, which was affecting birds, but there was a worry that might spread, might transfer to humans, and to have an avian a flu that can transfer through birds would be bad because then there's no way of confining it to borders,
right,
and stuff like that. We had the swine flu outbreak, which is very much similar to this.
Yeah, and what if pigs could fly?
Yeah, if pigs could fly, we had no chance.
Regardless of illness, I mean, they become new overlords.
And they were saying how these are all they were all things that turned out to be not much.
Right.
But at the same time, this could be not much, but it could be something a lot bigger. We don't know yet,
Right.
especially as it's more contagious than standard flu, so it could get to a point. But they're like, people are scared of like scaremongering, but at the same time, it's kind of better to be safe than sorry sometimes. I don't know.
Right. I mean, it's just, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think they should be cancelling gigs? Do you think the government should be getting involved? Do you think this is just a bunch of fake news?
And if you have any suggestions to not spread germs whilst at a pub, let us know.
Yeah, don't go around just licking everyone's wine glass. Right, let's do this. Gig list. It's time.
What pubs are you going to and drinking wine?
Good point. I go to classy places. I'm a classy boy. No. So, right, I'm going to start this one off. So, thank you to Ipswich Gigs for this one. Thank you to Andrew. Subscribe to their mailing list. Trust me, they give you something every Sunday, giving you a breakdown of what gigs are happening. So, but a lot of the gigs that we get on the show, on the Harley and Josh show, I get from event invites that are personal to me. So some of it isn't on Ipswich Gigs. So it's good to subscribe to Ipswich Gigs, but also listen to us every week. Yeah. First one we're going to finish off the show with a band from this lineup. It's the Confession night at Coda Colchester. This is Wednesday. You've got a weekday gig, mate. Coda Colchester. There's Broken Calling, Political Hesitation, and amazing band called The Illusionist from Colchester. We're going to play at the end of this show. So yeah, check that one out.
Amazing. We have...
Those were all ends.
No.
I'm so glad I gave you this one to read.
Is that the name of the event? Or is that the name
I think it's the name of the event, yeah.
Okay, cool. So this is at the Halberd Inn, Northgate Street, what used to be McGinty's. We have Cadaver Eyes, Talking Sleeve, and Nicola Woodham, as well as Huge Meta Alf.
Yeah.
On the 12th. What days of the week is that?
That is a good question. I believe that is the Friday. No, it's not. It's Thursday.
Thursday. It's a Thursday night gig.
There we go. So if you listen to the podcast on the Thursdays, you might just catch this one. Yeah. That's all like noise and electronica.
Amazing. So head to that. Should be good.
That would be, I think so.
We've got a lot of midweek gigs. It's nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Queer is Cult. Right. It's basically a big queer dance party. There's no live music at this one, but I just thought that people should know that this is a good thing. Just people that, would usually be kind of outcast by things, by just, bigots, are going to be hanging out at Cult. So if you identify as LGBTQ, check that out.
Even if you don't and just want to support.
Good point. Right? So that is Queer as Cult, queer dance party at this Friday at 7 o'clock at the Cult Cafe.
I really like the Cult Cafe. So
it's fun there, isn't it?
It's just nice, and it's kind of a bit bohemian, and like I went in there the other day and there was a table just with a pair of legs coming out of it.
Hey, exactly right. Place is a bit different. Yeah. You might say a bit queer.
A bit cult.
Right, yeah. Go on, tell us what else is happening.
So we got Backwater presents Albion Mills. Osin Reese.
I give this to you. Osian, I think.
I think I've seen this guy before. Very good.
Yeah.
Welsh fella.
Oh, right.
Really good, yeah.
Ossian Reese.
Ossian Reese.
Yep.
And Belinda Gillett.
Yep.
Or Gilet.
No, she's not a sleeveless jacket.
You're a sleeveless jacket. So these are playing at the Smokehouse on Friday. Get along to that if you want to check out some of the stuff. Albion Mills, we talked about them loads. And
they're also releasing new original material, Albion
amazing,
Mills. So I reckon they'll be debuting it there. We've been talking about this all show. NEEDSThe. Right, I like that, what they did there. Pet Needs and the Meffs are live at the Steamboat Tavern this Saturday, the 14th of March. That's a great lineup.
It is.
If you like your punk or you just like having a blooming good night, check that one out. NEEDSThe this Saturday.
I'm glad they did that and not called it Needs Meth.
Pet Meth.
Curtis Garrett is playing at the Arbor House.
Thanks, Curtis. He's listens to the show and gets
great,
involved. So
lovely
thanks,
voice. Lovely
he
voice.
Does.
So he'll be playing that on Saturday.
Where's the Arbor House?
I don't know. Shall I Google it?
Yeah. We haven't played anything with Curtis Garrett because I've not found any records. I did have a little look.
Okay, well.
So Curtis, if you're listening, please send us something for us to play.
The Arbor
Preferably
House.
Something original.
It says the High Street in Ipswich.
Oh, well, there you go.
It doesn't really...
It's full of Arbor wines and Arbor cools.
Oh, it's near the Crown Pools car park.
Oh, right.
That makes sense. Near the Ipswich Museum. So if you go towards the museum...
yes, I know the one.
Yeah, it's on the corner, kind of bluey, grey looking thing.
Lovely old pub.
It looks really nice. I've not been in.
Yeah, it's great.
It's nice.
Pokey and nice.
Oh, I like that.
You know, pokey,
Cozy.
nice and cozy. Yeah.
Cool.
Last one we got. Shout out to Luke. This Trip Switch are playing at the Bull in Colchester. That's this Saturday. We don't always or ever do covers gigs on the show. We only go for the original stuff unless it's our gigs. Because so
we don't like competition here.
But these guys listen to the show, so thank you very much. So enjoy yourselves at Trip Switch this Saturday, 14th of March at the Bull in Colchester. Let's quickly, before we go, let's do some game stuff because today's game's quite fun.
Okay,
right? Informative.
Can I tell you about I told you that the competition last week was the Ruin
song name with one letter.
Yeah, and my one was Don McLean's American 3.141266535897993.
He's doing this from memory as well. He's not reading this.
There we go.
It's beautiful mind. Yes, so it's not pi, it's P-I. So you're a clever man.
What?
Harley, let's talk about what other people put on our game today.
This week's game.
It was, what's the best song based on a true story? I'll start. Lola by the Kinks was inspired by a night of drinking and dancing with women who appeared to be a woman, but in fact was the famous cross-dresser Candy Darling, who is also mentioned in Lou Reed's Take a Walk on the Wild Side.
Yes.
Yeah, come to her, and then he was, and she said, hey, babe. Take a walk on the wild side. So yeah, I love that. I love that fact. What else have we got here? So Melissa Hammond said The Trooper by Iron Maiden was inspired by the Battle of Balaclava, in 1854. Baklava is a sweet treat. The Battle of Baklava. It's so sugary. And she also put Shine On You Crazy Diamond is about Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd is about Syd Barrett.
That's I like that because it's a song from about the original frontman written by the new frontman.
Yeah, exactly right. But, interesting. What's another one? The Sweet by Ballroom Blitz, thanks Scott Norman for this one, came from a riot in the crowd that saw the band bottled off the stage at the Grand Hall Palace Theatre in Kilmarnock in Scotland in 1973. Men spat while women screamed to drown out the music.
Yes.
Extreme screaming.
I have one from Andy Burlace. He said Jeremy by Pearl Jam. Apparently it's not very accurate, but it does tell a very cool story very interesting story about sort of the weird kid in school, essentially, which is
leave it to Rob Lewis to do a weird one. Kiss, of course it'd be a Kiss song. Plaster Caster, it was a song about a woman that has a unique collection of plaster casts of certain parts of male rock stars' anatomy. I'll let you guys fill in the blanks. Some people have just put songs on there and they haven't said the story. I'm like, you have not understood this at all.
Two people have done the same thing, but I can tell the story. Well, the song tells the story itself. So both my dad, Steve Cotton, thank you for commenting.
Good old boy.
Nigel Boyer.
Boyer.
Smoke on the Water by Deep Purple. It tells the story of how they wrote the album or how they recorded the album. They went to go record
in Montreux, wasn't it?
Yeah, in Frank Zappa's studio, and it got burnt down. And
was it the studio or was it a concert? I just heard somebody like at a concert. There was a gig on like next to the river or the lake, and then some idiot had someone stupid with a flare gun burned the place to the ground, so everybody had to evacuate. It was Frank Zappa and the mothers.
Yes.
Were playing the gig, but yeah,
it may have been that they were recording the live gig or whatever, but like how they kind of threw together some recordings or something on that. But anyway, that's a really cool little story.
Neil Cameron, thanks mate. Who Are You by The Who, based on a legendary meet-up and drinking sesh between Pete Townsend and the Sex Pistols, Steve Jones and Paul Cook. Oh, you want to be in that room, don't you?
Oh, wow, yeah.
But yeah, if you guys have got some more, please let us know. It's on the Facebook. Let us know if you've got some songs coming out of the Harley and Josh show at gmail.com. We've got a Spotify playlist. We've got an Instagram account. We've got a Facebook page.
Yeah.
We've got everything, mate. Just get involved.
Interesting story here. The song Lola, which was the original song that you spoke about, or somebody, the lyrics, the mono version released in 1970, in the lyrics mention cherry cola, which predates Coca-Cola, who didn't start making cherry cola until 1985.
Nostradamus.
Yeah.
Amazing. That's quite cool, that.
Thanks, Dan Veal, for that. Great bass player. He's one of the writers for the Tech Bass magazine. He writes the tech section.
Thanks for listening, guys. We love you very much. Harley, love you, mate.
Yeah, love you too,
This is Blue Blood by the Illusionist. Check it out. Bye.
Bye.
You have no